So what you're going to see today is our students having their literature circle discussions as a reciprocal teaching strategy. So each student in a group has their role: predictor, questioner, clarifier, and summarizer. And so we've been practicing with this for the last few months. And so we started out where we were reading an entire novel together as a class, so a whole class novel, and then they would work together in their groups, but it was very teacher directed. It was very much like we would read a section and then I'd stop and say, okay, right now, predictor, you should have something to predict. So have your discussion about, whatever passage we just read from the novel that we were reading all together. And so it was very, very structured in terms of how we conducted our literature circles with our reciprocal teaching. Today, we're at the point where this group of students, they're all reading, each group is reading a different novel as we're getting ready for the 2020 Newbery Awards. And so each group is going through their novel, and today we're talking about character analysis. So they're breaking down the main character and talking about some predictions they can make with what happens to the main character. They're talking about the character strengths, weaknesses, and really just kind of analyzing each of the characters in their novel. So you're going to see them writing on the whiteboard tables different pieces of evidence from the novel about their character as they work through their novel. So we're about 3/4 of the way done with each of our novels, and so that's the work that you're going to see them do today.
Just predicting the ending. So today we're finishing the book. How do you think the last
Couple pages.
10 chapters is going to be?
How the wife and husband is, I think they might end up getting
So all possibilities. So divorce is one. Number two, what else do we have? She might win the talent show.
Yeah.
So slash she might make dad proud of her.
What was the prize? Did they have a prize for the show?
Just a trophy.
I was going to say, if she would have won, money, she could probably help her family out with the
And that's what I was thinking too. She might win money from the
or she
talent
might
show.
sell the trophy.
She could sell the trophy, but still, she said the talent show is all about wins. She needs the wins for something, but winning the talent show isn't going to give her anything. She doesn't get money. She doesn't. All she gets is the trophy.
She has a reason to win.
It's some reason. So that's the only confusing thing that we have to figure out. So if she does win, how will she help her family? You're selling a trophy. And probably the most likely way, if she does make the dad proud of her, the dad might quit drinking, quit gambling, which is a 0.01 chance. But he might stop drinking, he might stop gambling, and he might start paying more attention to her and getting more money and getting a real job so that he can pay the rent.
Hopefully, that influences her dad, but she shouldn't have to influence her dad for something that he already should have did.
If
She just came out and told the truth, and then they probably could have worked some stuff out and tried to get him a job. This is what I'm comfortable. What if that's not even really her dad?
Oh yeah, it could be something different because she said that she didn't come, or it could be the complete opposite, and it could be that her mom wasn't her true mom because it said that she came out not looking like her mom. She came out because her grandma said.
What if she was like a parent and they just adopted her? So, in the earlier episode, it was like when he was running, saying that's not my daughter. She don't look nothing like her. She's ugly for my daughter, stuff like that.
It could have been true. It could have been just because he's drunk. Because she does look like they have the same skin tone. Well, I guess not maybe exactly the same skin tone, but pretty close to the same really, really dark skin tone.
I think that he was. I think that he was just drunk because sometimes when you're drunk, you like do something. At the end of the story, he's gonna end up like eating that and color and that. I think at the end, she said she was black. Trying to bleach her skin.
Even after Children told her that she was pretty cool she still didn't stop using the bleaching cream. So it's going to take a lot more than just the kind of turning out that she was fine as she was, and she's going to still be made to make her stop. So it's kind of, I guess it's something that, I'm going to come over here. I actually also yeah, we can use over here. So split this into from theme, and then we can also do our thoughts. So there's kind of a connection between her and her dad. They both have problems with themselves. The dad has problems with drinking, and he can't find anything to stop it. And Genesis just has problems with her skin color. So, and it could be, and this is far out there, but there could be one thing happening that helps both of them. That helps her. The township could fix it.
Because we was talking about her dad could do like a job, and then the other like she can stop trying to push her and love her. Yeah, she'll get to that. Like, it's basically about she'll just learn more stuff about. Don't try to be like us.
If that happens, how is her mom going to pay her hospital bills?
Yeah, how are they going to pay hospital bills? How are they going to pay medicine? How are they going to pay anything to help her get better? And
She tried to change her skin color for so long, and nothing worked. And bleaching creams could give her cancer, so why would she keep doing it?
but there's also the thing that she used so much other stuff. She used lemons, yogurt, milk powders, and she even used plain old bleach. So
Did she clean the bleach?
Where does she go to the?
Well, she can
she
really,
just bathed herself in bleach.
yeah, she can really get bleach by that. She can really do that.
So, and I want to think that maybe the lemons, yogurt, and milk bags, that was completely fine. That didn't change her, that didn't do anything. But the bleach and the bleaching cream, she already has bleach in her skin. And maybe, yeah. And if the cream gets into the bleach, then she said she won't be using the bleaching creams for that long, just to lighten her skin up a little. But it might, and I don't know if this is how it actually works, but if she already has the bleach in her skin and she's using the bleaching creams, it might not take as long than normal bleaching creams to give her cancer. And if she does get cancer, then the talent show is off, everything is...
And then if she doesn't win, like, that's she's gonna probably be upset because she was talking about she wants to win, she wants to make her dad proud.
Yeah.
So you can try to do better things, but if she doesn't, I
heard the kid just might get irritated and start like having big rash.
And if that happens, then she might get even uglier in her eyes than she already was when she had really dark skin.
it's probably gonna hurt her, affect her.
And she has all these cuts on her that she used the Yeah, she used the cut, and then all the chemicals that she was using in her hair to make it get better, that got in her skin with all the cuts. And she's just doing so much to herself.
Are you guys talking about where she goes and finds some of her grandma's kind of old wives' tales, kind of not makeup, but where she tries to do things to change the way she looks?
Yeah, we're talking about how she's changing that she looks. And the lemons, yogurt, and milk were harmless. But there were...
Are they though? Have you ever tried to like put lemon on your skin? So, have you ever had like a cut and you've like just tried to squeeze a lemon, and what does that do to that cut? This stings, doesn't it?
But there was three things that happened to her. Number one, she got herself completely covered in cuts. Then she completely bathed herself in bleach and got bleach into those cuts covering the skin. Then she used bleaching creams to try and lighten her skin, which was working. But then she started putting all those chemicals in her hair that also got into the cuts. So there's three things that's messing up her body that could speed up the bleaching creams giving her cancer.
So there's a whole lot of issues there, right? But what I hear you guys talking about is kind of the root of the issue of how she feels about herself, right? How she feels about her own blackness and her own color of her skin. How she feels about her family, right? Yeah. So she's dealing with all of this stuff over here, and then now she's dealing with her physical self, not liking how that.
And that's why we have these two different plots. We have the family plot, and then we have the plot about herself. Yeah. Two different plots, one character.
So there's lots of things, and those are all gonna kind of weave together and connect together, like you said, exactly. So.
There's gonna be a bad food for her. Like, said she really wanted to win the college, and then if she stopped, it would be a good thing for her and her family. Because she would win that. She said that really meant a lot to her to make her dad proud.
Because what she's doing to herself could have lasting impact on her own skin and her own physical appearance too.
And she is changing, but she's calling herself brave. And it's good that she's calling herself brave.
Write that word down. So I want you guys to kind of, I would say for herself, yeah. I would say write that word down because I want you guys to kind of talk about that braveness that she mentions.
Yeah.
Talk about how that's developed.
I was also going to say that her braveness is getting better, or I would say it's getting worse.
Okay, so talk about what ways is it getting better? What ways is her braveness getting worse or less? And
not really
talk
less,
about.
but the more brave she gets, the worse she gets. Because she's crossing that line where she gets so brave that she's doing anything to herself. She doesn't care what's happening to herself.
So where it's unsafe.
She's
I see what you're saying.
doing anything.
Okay, so go back to the novel though, look for some of that evidence and look for like some page numbers and some evidence for where she's feeling brave and where she's acting on that braveness in a not so positive way, okay? You guys are doing a great job and having a great discussion, okay? What were you going to say? That's gonna sting, right?
Yeah, something's gonna happen. She had all those cuts and then she was bathing in the bleach.
Well, are you making a prediction? Nice. Do you guys hear his prediction? Go ahead and repeat that for me.
Like, so she has all those cuts on her body and then she's bathing in the bleach. Something has to happen soon.
Something's gonna happen with that.
And the bleaching cream says it only took 5 days. And it's bleaching cream, so it's basically just cream, and it's basically just bleach in the form of cream. So
is that something that needs to be clarified of what exactly bleaching cream is?
Yeah, and
Okay, so write that down under your clarification, and I will get some clarification around my numbers, okay? You guys keep going with this, because this is a good discussion.
Alright, so what?
So in our group, I'm the clarifier, and I really like help my group understand how the book happens and things in the book. Like, clarifying is really hard sometimes because, like, sometimes you might not even know what the word means. So you have to go look it up, and it's just like making a discussion throughout the whole book. And I also answered a lot of the questions because sometimes I might know the answers, and sometimes my other group members clarify too, because just because you're the clarifier doesn't mean you like have to do all the clarifying or all the questioning or whatever you want to do.
Alright, so myself as the questioner, what I do is I would say that I ask most of the questions and I help the progress of the discussion go further out, which is what's just happening.
So I'm the summarizer, and like what we read, I talk about, and like what main ideas and stuff happen that were important in the story.
I'm the predictor. I like to think of what will happen next in the story because the book we are reading keeps us guessing and keeps us on the edge of our seats. I'm not the only one who does it. We all do it basically because we all would like to know what happened next.
And do you think that talking about your books together as a group has helped you understand what you're reading better?
Yeah, because as a group, if one of us don't understand something, the other one can clarify it, which is her job.
And it helps us see different points of views of the story. Like, since we can't hear what the people are saying, we can only read them. We like to infer how the characters might be saying.
Yeah, and also like if we're reading the book and we might have read it differently. Like this one part said the girl was talking about how she didn't like boys, but she liked her. So I thought it was like liking her as a friend, but she thought it was different. Like we all had different understandings of the play.
So what I want you to kind of share out is just a little bit of a summary of your character, what we know about the character, how the character's changing, and what evidence you have to support that. So let's make sure we're sitting up in slant. Make sure we're tracking our speaker. Is there a group that wants to volunteer to go first? All right, we'll go to this group first. So I want this group to share out. Make sure you're talking loud and proud. Make sure everyone is tracking our speaker. I believe we're going to video record each of these, right? All right. All right, so stand up as you share out.
So Nova is a girl with autism, and she feels like only her sister Bridget could understand her because when Nova was trying to write, it only looked like scribbles, and Bridget knew that each of the scribbles equaled a word, and when they were both younger, their birth mother gave Bridget, her sister, a NASA and later on, Bridget gave Nova the NASA bear to just remember Bridget by and her mother. And later in the story, towards the end, Bridget is ending up dying due to a car crash, and she was dead throughout the whole book. That's why Bridget wasn't getting any of her letters. And Nova ran away trying to find Bridget because she thought that the letters were being sent to the wrong address.
So what major change would you say Nova goes through as a character in the book?
Closer to the beginning, Nova was happier and more understood. She was also a lot more hopeful that she could learn. But towards the end, she was like, Bridget forgot about me. What's the point of even trying? I'm never gonna learn. I can't do this. So she just tries to escape it all.
So not every change a character goes through is always a positive change, is it? I mean, think about our lives as just human beings. Everything that we go through isn't necessarily a positive experience or a positive thing. Now, hopefully, as you go through things in life, you can find the good in the bad. Does that make sense? So does Nova have the tools to be able to, as she goes through some of these changes as a character, does she have the tools to help her see the positive in this situation? Is there hope in the end of this book?
Also, I wanted to say,
Yeah, go ahead.
when I read the book, there was a quote that we did, and it says, I thought you would come back. I thought you would find me. I promise, I promise.
Ooh.
I believed you throughout all these weeks since we ran away. But I don't believe you now. You're lying. I know you lied. You're not coming back. You never will.
That's hard, isn't it? That's a pretty big thing for her to say. So thank you for sharing that quote. All right, let's give this group 2 claps on 2. 1, 2. Nice job. Cheryl, this way.
So, number one, I wanted to say that people who read this book think that Genesis just completely hated herself from the beginning. We figured out that from the beginning, she did like herself. She knew that she knew it was going to be her best day. She thought she had friends. But ever since that they found her house on the curb and they started making fun of her, that's when she started to hate herself, and that's when she started adding to her list and having problems with her family and having problems with her history. And throughout the story, she starts getting, and the biggest change she ever makes is her bravery. But that bravery, instead of just, it branches out 2 ways. She has her bravery that helps her in her life, but then she ends up being too brave at some points. Because there was like her going to her dad's job to figure out why the rent wasn't getting paid, her auditioning for the talent show, her getting herself done with her hair. All that is a good way of being brave and in herself. But she also has the bad kinds of brave, like knowing that she knew that she was going to get hurt when she did all of the things to lighten her skin up. But there's 3 or 4 main things that happened to her. She got herself cut. She got cuts all over her body, bathed herself in bleach and got the bleach in her body, then used chemicals in her hair and got that in her body, then used the bleaching creams that was said to only take 5 days to make a change. But with all the other stuff already in her body from those cuts, something might happen to her, and that's the bad way of being brave. She's taking it too far, and she doesn't care what's going to happen to her. She just wants to change herself to look pretty in her own eyes. She doesn't even know what other people will think.
Isn't she, though, not necessarily trying to be pretty in her own eyes, but trying to be the idea of pretty that she thinks other people have? Do you see the difference?
But
you guys had a great discussion. Go ahead.
She doesn't know that people are still going to make fun of her. Like her mom got made fun of for being a light black, and she doesn't realize that she's not getting fun of because she is just really dark black. She's getting made fun of because she's just black in the first place. She's trying to lighten herself because she thinks that'll stop her from being made fun of. But the only way to stop from being made fun of is if, and it doesn't make sense in our eyes because we all know that it's not true. But the only way that she wouldn't get made fun of is if she was pure white skin.
Yeah, and so she struggles with that. But think about where that's rooted from. And I think you guys said it earlier that that's really rooted in the fact that her own father makes fun of the color of her skin. Her own father mocks her for being as dark as she is.
And it's because and her dad is the same skin tone as her because his mom thought the same thing of him. And he got made fun of, and he started getting drunk and that. And it's not the drunkenness is making him say things. It's that being drunk is making him tell the truth. That he's saying that he loves her, and the mom is saying that when he gets drunk, he says things but he doesn't mean. But the drunkenness is making his brain tell the truth out loud instead of lying.
At least the things that he thinks out loud. that he maybe shouldn't say to his, how old is the daughter?
Like 12, 13.
Yeah. A person, an adult, a parent shouldn't say those things to their 12-year-old.
And
right?
Genesis ends up, she has to, and her bravery also takes her to, she is taking control of her family. Like, the parents aren't doing anything. The parents don't know what to do. She ends up being the parent in the family.
Yeah.
She's taking control of everything.
All right, excellent job, guys. Good summary. Let's give them 2 claps. On 2, 1, 2. Let's go to the